Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business.
Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Since 2018, the sports betting industry has exploded in the United States. Whenever you turn on a TV or a radio, you're probably going to hear an advertisement for sports betting within a couple of minutes. So in terms of sports betting, where did it come from? Where is it going? And what is its effect on some people who bet on sports? Well, a new book tackles that issue. It's called Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling, and it's written by returning guest Jonathan Cohen. Jonathan's going to tell us some compelling stories about the effects of sports betting on some bettors and about where sports betting is going in the future. When we come back, we're talking with Jonathan Cohen about the effects and possible future of sports betting. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards. Hey, Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards. I just got my Dugout mug delivered, and I am loving it. Dugout mugs are mugs made out of baseball bats, and they are officially licensed by Major League Baseball so you can get your favorite baseball team's logo on your mug. Just think of it, enjoying your favorite drink while watching your favorite baseball team with your team's logo on your mug made from a baseball bat. They can even make customized mugs. Check out the mug they made for House of Cards. I mean, just look at that. That looks awesome. I've never seen anything like them. If you go to dugoutmugs.com, you'll find out they even make more things than mugs. They have baseball board games, grilling equipment made from baseball bats. They even have a section for gifts for under $30. Head on over to dugoutmugs.com because if you're a baseball fan or need a gift for a baseball fan, you have to check out Dugout Mugs. And use our promo code PIKE at checkout to get 20% off your purchase price. That's promo code PIKE, P-I-K-E. Also, free shipping with orders over $99. You can't beat that. DugoutMugs.com. That's my go-to place if I need a gift for a baseball fan. Well, if you excuse me now, the game is about to go on, and the wind is just right for drinking. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of September 22nd, 2025. Palms Casino in Las Vegas announced a partnership with Aristocrat Gaming to launch the Link Up Lounge, which is a dedicated jackpot gaming space featuring nearly 50 progressive slot machines. The game lineup includes new Aristocrat titles such as House of the Dragon and Hyperlink, as well as popular games like Buffalo Link, Buffalo Revolution, Lightning Link, and Dragon Link. The new space opened on August 28th and is located near the Tonic Bar. Ohio's 4 casino properties combined for nearly $89 million in revenue in the month of July. Slot machines accounted for $65.2 million of that total, and table games recorded $23.7 million for the month. The state's leader in Ohio is Hollywood Columbus, which generated $24.7 million in revenue for the month of July. And finally, IGT announced that its Wheel of Fortune Big Money Spin electronic table game made its world debut at Downtown Grand Casino in Las Vegas. The electronic table game includes many attributes of the Wheel of Fortune slots, which include word puzzles, wheel spins, and jackpot rewards, but also includes a 9-foot upright video wheel that entertains customers with the famous Wheel of Fortune chant. Can't wait to check it out on the casino floor. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on X at HOC Radio.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check us out at houseofcardsradio.com.
We must get her back.
I'll be satisfied if we get her half back.
I'll take a quarterback. In fact, I'll take Notre Dame in 2 points.
Oh, you want 2 points?
I certainly do.
Well, you got 'em.
Oh!
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Since 2018, sports betting in this country has exploded. More than half of the states have expanded their gaming laws to include sports betting. And it seems like you can't turn on the TV or radio and not hear a sports betting commercial. But how did sports betting evolve, and what effect does it have on the people who bet? Well, a new book is looking at that issue. It's called Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling, written by Jonathan Cohen. And we are lucky to have Jonathan on the line with us right now. Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new book. I mean, you were on before when we were talking about your book about the lottery industry called For a Dollar and a Dream, State Lotteries in Modern America, which was really eye-opening, the same way your new book is eye-opening on the issue of sports betting. What motivated you to write your new book, Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling, and what did you hope to convey to the reader about sports betting?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a sports fan, for a long time, and I started work on the lottery book in 2015, and then, I'm sure we'll discuss, the Supreme Court decision that opened the floodgates for sports betting happened in 2018. And I'm a good interviewee, as I hope you'll agree. When I did press for the lottery book, I knew that people were going to ask about the Supreme Court decision, so I sort of studied up on it.
Okay,
and it seemed like, I mean, maybe you got the same sense around 2021, 2022. It seems like things were really changing. Mm-hmm. It seems like they were, because of the rise of sports gambling, it was sort of all of a sudden everywhere, and it was leading to a sort of transformation of American sports, American society, and American culture. And I really didn't have much more to go on than that, other than like, hey, this is kind of weird. Like, maybe this is even going to be a problem. And just with that sort of sense, I wanted to investigate. And the product of that investigation really is the book. And the book was sort of an excuse, a way to channel my curiosity and try to explain, as you've said, sort of the causes and consequences of what happened.
You mentioned it, and prior to 2018, when the U.S. Supreme Court repealed the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, and that's known as PASPA in the industry, what did sports betting in the United States look like? Certainly we know Nevada had sports betting, but, a lot of people didn't know Oregon and Delaware had some interesting sports betting laws on their books. What was the sports betting landscape prior to 2018?
Yeah, I would say, and so I'll even put aside Oregon and Delaware because, like, who lives there? No offense to your listeners who do live there. But I would say, sort of writ large, the sports betting landscape looked like, Nevada, as you've alluded to, and then most of the rest of it was illegal.
Yeah.
People betting with offshore casinos, people betting with their local bookie, and then starting in the mid 2010s, and this is sort of I think the hinge point, at least sort of culturally speaking, with you see the rise of daily fantasy sports, which, even fantasy sports is not gambling, but it sort of looks like gambling. And daily fantasy sports, technically, legally, was not gambling, but sure looks a lot like gambling. And I think around the mid 2010s, you see this sort of sea change where it seems like only a matter of time before actual formal technical sports betting goes online, because people are basically already betting, not just those who are already betting illegally, but even people who never would have dreamed of tracking down a bookie and placing a few bucks on the Jets or something.
It's interesting that you talk about fantasy sports and daily fantasy, and that almost led the way to sports betting to become legal. I remember prior to 2018, I was talking to someone in the state legislature, and he specifically said that daily fantasy sports is a gateway drug to sports betting, which I thought was an interesting way to put it. And if you look at it, some of the big daily fantasy sport platforms are the biggest sports betting platforms out there. But in your opinion, could we ever have had sports betting if it wasn't for daily fantasy sports? Did daily fantasy sports actually lead us to sports betting?
Culturally, yes. Mm-hmm. Legally, no. The way we actually got to sports betting technically had nothing to do with daily fantasy sports, mm-hmm. right? The way we got to sports betting was the state of New Jersey making 3 different attempts
Yeah.
to go to the Supreme Court and to get the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act overturned. And finally, on the third attempt, after sort of a Hail Mary appeal, the Supreme Court heard the case and overturned PASPA so that New Jersey could legalize sports betting if it wanted to. Nowhere in the decision do they talk about the specifics of daily fantasy sports, and really the decision isn't actually about gambling at all, right? It's really about the 10th Amendment and about states' rights. But so while that sort of legal maneuvering is happening, certainly sort of culturally speaking, I don't know if sports betting would be as big as it is today were it not for daily fantasy sports, both culturally sort of raising the profile of gambling, but also, as you've already alluded to, the fact that DraftKings and FanDuel, which are today the two largest sports betting companies, have everyone's email address. They had, all the daily fantasy sports email address. They had name recognition. They had credit cards on file. They had everything you would want to get online sports betting up and running already in place, thanks to this sort of previous era from DFS.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
It's finally here, and we're so excited to show you this brand new addition to the Crimpit family, the Crimpit Wrap. Start enjoying wraps like you've never seen them before. No more contents falling out while you eat. Create these perfectly sealed, beautiful parcels and then heat them in your air fryer, oven, grill, pan fry, or even enjoy them cold. You can make burritos, calzones, enchiladas, pasties. The list is endless. You're only limited by your imagination. Simply place a wrap in the Crimpit device, add your ingredients, microwave for 20 seconds, fold it over, and crimp your snack into a perfectly sealed bundle of joy. Then it's time to heat it up any way you like. There you have it, a delicious snack like you've never seen before.
Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024, the Audien Atom 2 series offers superior sound quality and functionality for a fraction of the price. For just $189 a pair, the Atom 2 features 4 different hearing modes for all types of hearing loss. It packs crystal clear sound, a nearly invisible design, and is even rechargeable.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids. They're so comfortable, I forget I'm wearing them. And the sound is amazing.
The Atom Pro 2 is our smallest hearing aid yet, featuring advanced background noise cancellation, and is the world's first hearing aid with built-in UV cleaning that kills 99% of bacteria.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed without seeing a doctor or having a hearing test.
Join over 500,000 happy customers today and get the hearing you deserve.
Call 1-800-457-0924 or go to AudienHearing.com to get your pair of Audien hearing aids starting at just $189.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-733-6860. 800-733-6860.
You're listening to House of Cards.
I'm talking sick piles of money. I'm talking lay on your bed in your Vegas room, throw the money in the air, and dance as it showers down on you money. I'm talking frosted glass limo money. I'm talking big cowboy hat, silver turquoise buckle money. I'm talking gambling.
I am in love with you.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Jonathan Cohen, author of Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling. Being a lawyer in 2018 in New Jersey, I remember the case that repealed PASPA. And one of the points a couple of points that New Jersey was making is, you know what, sports betting is happening anyway. We should be able to regulate it and make money for the citizens of New Jersey and also provide help for people who need it with regard to problem gambling through state-funded programs. I'm sure that became the basis for every argument for every state who wanted sports betting. I mean, certainly the state is making money, and I know a lot of states are going through the process of sending cease and desist letters to offshore providers. But have the states been sufficiently helping the people who need help with regard to problem gambling?
I mean, it's always going to be subjective.
Yeah.
I would say no. And the thesis of the book is, and you already shared the title, thank you. Mm-hmm. But the key word I think in the title of the book is reckless, mm-hmm. which is I think sports gambling should be legal. And I think I'm no lawyer in New Jersey. I'm not to mention a lawyer in New Jersey, but I do think that the Murphy decision was sort of correctly decided. Mm-hmm. But I do think sports betting should be legal. But I think the specific way it was rolled out was reckless. Yeah. And we did not, at least initially, and I would say even now, have enough protections in place to really differentiate the legal regulated market from the illegal market in terms of player protection. So no, I don't think we're doing enough. I think we could be doing more, and I think we should be holding legal providers to a higher standard than what we hold, these illegal offshore providers.
It's interesting that you stated how the states were rolling it out, and I loved your chapter on how Colorado rolled it out. I mean, they had to get through the process of presenting it to their citizens, and they used the issue of water to help pass sports betting in the state. Has that been the trend for a lot of states, attaching issues to sports betting legislation to help convince people of the potential benefits of allowing sports betting in the state?
Well, they pronounce it water out there.
I know. I say New Jersey guys put R's in water. So that's right. How I say water. Water.
Water.
Water.
Yeah, I would not as. I mean, I'll forgive you if you don't remember from our last conversation. But the lottery really, when the lotteries were passed, those were really sort of campaigns that hinged on the issue in question. The lottery is going to raise money for education. The lottery is going to raise money for public parks, whatever. Mm-hmm. Sports betting in most states was not a single issue.
Yeah.
Sort of a campaign like it was in Colorado, and Colorado was a unique case that I picked for a specific reason because it had a ballot initiative that sort of went before voters in addition to being passed by the legislature. But in most states, it was just passed by lawmakers themselves. It didn't need to go to a public vote, and the money isn't. Some of the money is allocated for specific causes, but in generally speaking, it's just going to the general fund. And I think the timing here is really auspicious of states that were just behind Colorado, which passed sports betting during COVID, when obviously states were sort of facing a severe budget crunch, and this was presented as free money into their laps. Professional sports got back online relatively quickly compared to other parts of society, so people would have a chance to bet on sports. And gambling has always been sort of dangled in front of lawmakers as a free source of tax revenue that doesn't require actual taxes. So even if it's not attached to a specific cause, it's always been appealing for the potential of, or the promise, I guess, the false promise of solving budgetary problems.
A great thing about your book is that you write about real people's stories and their experiences with sports betting. I mean, one person's story that was very chilling to me was someone named Andrew who let sports betting get out of hand and really affect his entire life. Tell us something about Andrew, and how did sports betting affect him?
Yeah, and this is, I'll just caveat to say, this is like the 1%. case. This is like, sort of an extreme case of gambling addiction, but I think a case that we should all become a little bit more comfortable with, because it's going to be happening a lot more, and it has been happening a lot more thanks to the sudden availability of online sports betting. But Andrew, to your question, grew up, in a household that you wouldn't expect someone to have a gambling addiction, a well-to-do suburban Connecticut household, and, big sports fan growing up, sure, played DFS a little bit in the mid-2010s, sure, and then after college started betting with his roommate's bookie. His roommates quit betting, and he just kept betting and kept betting and kept betting with his bookie, and in such a way that, and this is how gambling addiction works, where his dopamine pathways just got rewired, and he wasn't able to stop, and he was betting when he was in the shower, he was betting when he was driving, he would bet to get out of bed in the morning. He just needed action at all times, and lost $100,000 to his bookie, gets cut off. Okay, but he is addicted, so he's going to keep betting. He bets on offshore casino. Okay, he stops there, he switches over to FanDuel. Bets basically just as dangerously with FanDuel as he was doing with these other places. Gets a VIP host to entice him to keep betting with FanDuel, and then eventually, as you can imagine where this is going, crashes out, misses a couple mortgage payments, and all told, over the course of a few years, loses $330,000.
The one thing that was interesting regarding Andrew, for me anyway, was his relationship with the sportsbook and especially the VIP hosts in the industry. I know operators always say they keep an eye out for problem gambling, but my question to you is, what do they look out for? And explain how Andrew really slipped through the cracks of what the operators said they were looking for.
Right. So the operators do look out for things, but it's sort of in a really, really specific way. And if you don't say the right sequence of words, they're not going to flag you, because if you're losing money, they want to keep you on the platform. And so the operators will flag you if you say something like, I think I have a gambling problem, I can't control it, or, oh, I'm running out of money, can you front me some money because I want to bet until my paycheck comes in? If you make it really, really obvious and really, really clear that you have a gambling problem or that you're gambling beyond your means, they most likely will, in fact, cut you off. But unless it's all self-reported. So unless you say something like that, even though these companies have incalculable amounts of data about every single person who uses their platform, they could tell that Andrew was betting at 3 a.m. They could tell that he was betting on these minor tennis tournaments that he had no idea the names of the people he was betting on. They could tell, if they wanted to, that he was betting unsafely, but they don't. And the only sort of metric they use to decide if someone is an irresponsible gambler or an addicted gambler is someone sharing that information directly with a customer support representative or with a VIP host, because fundamentally the companies don't want to cut people off unless they absolutely have to.
One thing Andrew did was start chasing his losses, and in an attempt to get out of the hole he turned to parlays. And one thing everyone in the gaming industry says is that parlays don't build bankrolls; they build sports books, and certainly operators know this, because every one of them seems to be pushing parlays or as some kind of parlay builder. Is that the situation for people who have a gambling problem? They tend to chase their losses and in turn get deeper into a hole. And is that something that sports books and sports betting operators should be looking out for? And what is the criteria that sports books now have when they see something like this?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, because I don't want to imply that everyone who builds a parlay is a gambling addict. Young people in particular, young bettors, have flocked to parlays because they're fun, and because it's sort of a way. A lot of these kids, they don't want to bet $100 to try to win $110. They want to bet $10 to try to win $15,000, even if the odds of that are, of course, so much more distant. So. But when it comes to problem gamblers, right, who and their attraction to these things, this is a unique feature of gambling addiction compared to other types of addiction, where someone who is addicted to alcohol or to drugs has no reason to expect that, if they just drink one more bottle of bourbon or whatever, it's going to cure them of their addiction. But it's not impossible for someone who has lost, $100,000 gambling to think, oh, if I win one bet, I could wipe my slate clean and I could be back to zero.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is part of the motivating impetus behind parlays is you can win big, and you could, in Andrew's case, try to wipe your slate clean. So when the sportsbooks push parlays, I don't think it's because they're trying to hook addicts. I think it's because, as you said, they make so much more money off of parlays, and if they can just get casual bettors to make parlays instead of making money line bets, they'll just make more money. But certainly for problem gamblers, it makes sense that they would flock to these long odds bets as their only hope of getting out.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side. Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand. Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Your Majesty, the royal wrestlers await.
I'll bet on the little guy. How much? 3,000 guineas, 2 geese, and a duck. That's a foul bet.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Jonathan Cohen, author of Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling. I know a lot of sports betting operators talk about responsible gaming and make deals with companies to help gamblers with their problems, but in your opinion, are they doing enough regarding the issue, and are they doing it in a timely fashion? I read in your book, and I love the analogy that, you're pulling people out of the river when you should be putting guardrails up to prevent them from going into the river. So is it timing of when they offer help, or is this a sufficient way to help with this issue of problem gambling?
Yeah, I think the timing is certainly right, and it's certainly like the right issue. And I would love if the companies themselves sort of self-regulated and took this upon themselves. I'm skeptical that they're going to do so, which is why people think that it's going to have to happen through legislation, in Congress or the state level. But the model that you've described, right, is of problem gambling as it currently exists is, if you run into trouble, call the hotline, we'll get you treatment. But of course, if you're calling the hotline, if you need treatment, you've basically probably already lost all of your money or enough of your money that you've recognized you had a problem, rather than if you think about how problem gambling works and how it develops, if you imagine it sort of as a slippery slope, but what if we put some speed bumps on the hill in the first place to stop people from sort of rolling down toward the bottom? Mm-hmm. So a VIP host, that's sort of already down the hill. That's for people who are already sort of sliding down. Yeah. But I think there are other solutions, and I'm sure we'll talk about sort of some regulatory ideas that would slow people down in the first place. And that's where I would like the gambling companies to either institute those themselves, or if they refuse to, for those to be imposed externally.
Do you think that the professional sports teams are doing enough in the realm of responsible gambling? I mean, anytime we hear something from a professional sports team, they bring up the term fan engagement. That was completely different prior to 2018, when the worst possible thing you could ever do in life is place a bet on a game. Nowadays, you can't turn on an NFL game without seeing sports betting advertisements and pregame shows sponsored by sportsbooks and things like that. What should be the role of professional leagues, and are they doing enough with regard to responsible gambling policies in this country?
Yeah, I don't think Well, so the role of professional sports leagues is really interesting, and I sort of wrote this chapter. It's sort of funny. I had to sort of fight to include this chapter about the NFL and its 180 about gambling in the book, and it's probably the one that I get the most questions about in interviews like this. People are the most curious sort of about this phenomenon because, as you said, they know how virulently anti-gambling the sports leagues were before 2018, and what a complete 180 they've done since then.
Oh, by the way, I just want to say this week the NFL put out a job call for a part-time legalized sports betting researcher who's going to help develop storylines based on gambling lines. So
I should apply. That
it's in California and it's part-time and it sounds like it'd be a fun job, but
I'm sure they'd love to have me over there. Yeah.
I mean, prior to 2018, this was unthinkable.
Right, and as you said, this was the foil, right? This was what the NFL and other leagues used to insist on their integrity. It was, you can trust the integrity of our products because we hate gambling, and we hate gambling so much. This was Roger Goodell in the middle of the concussion crisis calling gambling the number one threat to the integrity of football in the United States. And then, of course, after 2018, after the Supreme Court decision, now that they can make money off of it, they are making as much money off of it as they can and sort of flipping the script and saying, no, this is not a matter of we need to keep gambling at bay, but the way to protect the integrity of our game is to keep gambling close and to make money off of it and to monitor it and to have it in a legal, regulated, parentheses, profitable marketplace. So that's what they insist on now. I guess I shouldn't badmouth my future employer if I'm going to apply for that job, but I'm not holding my breath.
Now, I know one of the big issues for the states is how the media portrays sports betting, and in particular, advertising for sports betting operators. I mean, where do you see this issue of advertising and sports betting going? I mean, you rightly pointed out in your book that, and it's something I do all the time, that if I have to read an advertisement for a sports book, I basically just have to say you have to be 21 years or older, and if you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Do you think more needs to be done with the issue of advertising, and does the media have a responsibility to do more with regard to sports betting advertising?
Yeah, and this will also be in response to your last question about sort of the role of the leagues and what they can do to sort of promote responsible gambling or whether they're doing enough. I think the importance of advertising, people get annoyed by advertising, about everything. But I think they get particularly annoyed about sports gambling. But I think they sort of get it wrong, or they're annoyed for it for the wrong reason. Like I think a lot of people sort of see it as like, it's going to be a trigger for a problem gambler or whatever. My problem with sports betting advertising is that it is the primary tool by which sports betting is normalized, by which we are telling people, I would say especially young people, especially kids, that sports betting is a normal part of the sports fan experience, and that it is cool and glamorous and fun to bet on sports if you see Jamie Foxx like playing piano or whatever, and that it is something you should do, right? Like you should have your phone open with the DraftKings app while you're watching sports because that is how one watches sports these days. So that's sort of my problem with sports betting advertising. Many other countries have banned gambling advertising either during sports games or even like during daytime hours to reduce the risk of kids getting exposed. But of course, as you've already mentioned, there are all sorts of things that aren't technically advertising that are doing the same thing. Like a product placement during a segment on a talk show, or during the game they say, these third inning stats are brought to you by FanDuel. So formal advertising is sort of only one piece of it. It's really just a matter of the integration of gambling branding as something we've now, some people don't even notice anymore because it just over the last 7 years, it's just been such a rapid change to what sports looks like.
Now, sports betting rules and regulations are handled primarily by the states. I mean, do you think at some point the federal government will have to get involved in sports betting? And right now, what are some of the proposals that are being floated by the federal government with regard to sports betting?
Well, let me ask you: does the federal government do anything anymore? I don't know. I don't like. What are the odds that Congress passes anything?
Yeah,
not to mention a sports betting bill. Not to mention a smart sports betting bill.
True. True.
So yes, as you said, the primary function falls to the states. But you're a lawyer, so you'll appreciate this, right? The Murphy decision, the Supreme Court was very explicit that Congress can regulate sports betting if it wants to. The specific way it was trying to do so through PASPA was unconstitutional, but Congress can regulate sports betting. There is a bill put forth by a public health advocacy group at Northeastern University, and Richard Blumenthal and Paul Tonko in the Senate and the House, respectively, called the Safe Bet Act, that would really, really clamp down on sports betting. And the goal here, or their stated goal, is to set a minimum floor under states. So it's like, okay, states can legalize sports betting if they want to, but they have to, they have to not let you bet with credit cards. They can only allow advertising during these hours. They can't let you deposit into your sports betting account more than this number of times in 24-hour period, and so on. Such that states that have few protections, like Florida, for example, would need to basically add some of those guardrails that they're choosing not to have. As I said, I don't know if Congress is going to pass anything anymore, not to mention sort of a smart sports betting bill. But from industry insiders I talked to, they do think that some federal action at some point is inevitable, whether it's the Safe Bet Act, whether it's sort of a watered down version of the Safe Bet Act. I think indications are that the Safe Bet Act is influential, not just at the congressional level, but even just like for copycats at the state level. Massachusetts, New York, and Illinois have all considered basically mini versions of it at the state level rather than federally imposed. So, again, my 3-year-old might be able to legally bet by the time that Congress passes something, but I do think some floor is coming. But in the meantime, it's going to be at the state level where there's the reckoning or the comeuppance or the buyer's remorse is going to be evident.
Does what's happening with sports betting affect other types of proposed gaming regulation? And certainly the big topic in the gaming world is online casinos. I mean, here in New Jersey, I see more online casino television commercials than I do sports books lately. And the one thing about online casinos is you can set an online slot game for a set number of spins and walk away and do errands, and it'll be playing even if you're not in front of it. How does the rules and regulations and policies of sports betting affect the future of iGaming and online casinos in other states?
Yeah, well, let me make a confession first, which is I started writing this book, and I talked to an advocate, a sort of an anti-gambling advocate, and he was basically like, sure, go ahead, write your sports betting book, but like it's already old news, and iGaming is the future, and iGaming is the real deal, and that iGaming is where the story is, and I think he's right in that, in the same way that the companies, DraftKings and FanDuel primarily, but not exclusively, in the same way that they used daily fantasy as a sort of a staging ground for sports betting, they're now using sports betting as a staging ground for iGaming. And iGaming, as you've noted, right, is not actually attached to anything in the real world, right? Yeah. You can sort of the casino is always open because it's online, so you can get much more action and you can get it faster, and as a result, iGaming, online casinos, are so much more profitable for these companies than sports betting, which has sort of always been, going back to Vegas, a low margin business. So, there are all sorts of issues and all sorts of debates around iGaming, primarily related to this idea of cannibalization, as to whether the legalization of online casinos is going to take jobs away from people who work at in-person retail casinos, because people will just play on their phones instead of going into the casino. So that's why we don't have more states that have iGaming already, but that is certainly the new frontier, or the next frontier beyond sports betting, is trying to expand the marketplace, and the companies are certainly in favor of it, but there are all sorts of political issues that need to be sorted out around this cannibalization debate.
One issue that I think will be very important in the coming year, and one we talked about and I had interviews on in this show a lot, that'll be the issue of affordability. I know this concept is a big topic in the UK. To put it in its simplest forms, affordability is how much can a customer of a gaming platform afford to lose, and what is the responsibility of the gaming operator regarding that issue. What is your view of the issue of affordability, and do you think that will be something that gaming operators in the near future will have to contend with?
Yeah, this is a tricky one, because it's always going to be in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
Is fine art an issue of affordability? Should we be checking credit at the door of like fancy clothing stores to make sure that people can afford all the fancy clothes that they buy? We don't have affordability checks for other products. Should we have for gambling? Parentheses, gambling is different because it can be addictive and you can lose many mortgage payments, over the course of a couple hours or a couple minutes. But I'm in favor of some kind of affordability check, or at the very least, a sort of a behavioral check. Flutter, which is FanDuel's parent company in the United Kingdom and in Ireland, has a limit on how much young people are able to bet. It's just sort of, they log onto the app, you have to give them your social security number or whatever the equivalent is over there, and you say, oh, you're under 25, you can't bet more than X dollars, you can't spend more than X amount of time on the app, and so on. So when it comes to affordability, I'm in favor of, generally speaking, folks who hit certain minimums betting or proving that they can afford what they bet, or even setting a ceiling for young people especially and saying, okay, you can't bet more than $1,000 no matter how hard you try. I'll say one reason I'm not like full-throated in favor of affordability checks is Andrew, the problem gambler that we discussed earlier. He always made small deposits. Yeah. So he never made a large deposit that sort of triggered FanDuel's affordability check warning. Their affordability check warning is, of course, very, very high, and it's sort of intentionally designed so that it's not too sensitive. But I'm not sure that an affordability check would have caught him because, he had a good job as a lawyer in Connecticut and was making good money and was making, a couple $100 deposits at a time rather than a $10,000 deposit that might have been flagged. So I don't think they're a panacea. I don't think anything is really a panacea when it comes to something complicated like sports betting. But generally speaking, I think affordability and proving players can afford what they bet is a helpful and could be a helpful approach.
In the future, what do you think is in store for sports betting? Will we have new policies? Will the federal government become involved in sports betting in this country? What are some of the changes you think will occur in the sports betting industry? And what do you think are some of the changes that need to be made for the sports betting industry in the future?
Yeah, I mean, so the big one that's happening right now is this question of prediction markets, which are there are all sorts of prediction markets about like the election and now as of we're talking about who's going to be the next pope. But the Kalshi, one of the largest prediction market companies, has now expanded into single game contracts for NBA, NHL, MLB, and so on. And again, technically it's not betting because it's a prediction market, but it sure looks a lot like single game betting. So I think that is sort of a future question, particularly because these prediction markets are available in all 50 states, including in states that have not yet legalized actual sports betting. So the future, if anything was going to disrupt the current environment and the current setup of, FanDuel and DraftKings, which are basically a duopoly, it would be something crazy and new like prediction markets or like these sort of daily fantasy 2.0 games like Underdog and Prize Picks that are legal in some states that are also technically not sports betting, but of course actually sports betting. So I think the big question that the future holds is a actual formal definition of what gambling is and either a flowering of all sorts of gambling as a result or a restriction actually and a sort of clamping down on these not technically gambling, but of course actually gambling games and a sort of a return to sort of a core product that really puts sports betting even more in the limelight.
Jonathan, we're running out of time, but where can people pick up your book, Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling? And if you have a website or a social media address that you want to give out, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, you can find the book hopefully wherever, wherever books are sold, particularly online. And then my website, which has my contact information, and I keep it up to date with all the interviews I do and all the writing I do, is just jonathndcohen.com.
Jonathan Cohen, author of Losing Big, America's Reckless Bet on Sports Gambling. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about the book. It's an important and sobering look at the evolution of sports betting in this country and where it is possibly headed. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me back.
Stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards.
Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024, the Audien Adam 2 series offers superior sound quality and functionality for a fraction of the price. For just $189 a pair, the Adam 2 features 4 different hearing modes for all types of hearing loss. It packs crystal clear sound, a nearly invisible design, and is even rechargeable.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids. They're so comfortable, I forget I'm wearing them. And the sound is amazing.
The Adam Pro 2 is our smallest hearing aid yet, featuring advanced background noise cancellation, and is the world's first hearing aid with built-in UV cleaning that kills 99% of bacteria.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed without seeing a doctor or having a hearing test.
Join over 500,000 happy customers today and get the hearing you deserve.
Call 1-800-457-0924 or go to AudienHearing.com to get your pair of Audien hearing aids starting at just $189.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-733-6860. 800-733-6860.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Welcome to another edition of Beating the House. I'm Doug Weishuttle here with Dave Weishuttle. We're going to be crisscrossing the country, sometimes the continent, sometimes even the world, talking about the latest jackpots in the casino and lottery industries. If it's $100,000 or more, we will be talking about it on this show. Game announcements, press releases, jackpot announcements, info at turnpikesportsradio.com. We're in our casino jackpot segment here, and we are starting off in Connecticut.
Connecticut, that's one of 2 casinos. That's either Foxwoods, who just opened up a new kind of version of their poker room, or Mohegan Sun. It could be one of those 2.
Well, we are going to Mohegan Sun.
We're going to Mohegan Sun, all right.
As a matter of fact...
Wait, let me guess. If it's a slot machine... What slot are they? They're really boasting about, and that they have a lot. Is it Huff and Puff or Huff and
More
More
and Puff this time?
But they do have a lot of Huff and More.
They
Puff
are the Huff and Puff center of the Northeast, according to them, self-proclaimed.
Okay,
but here we are. We're in Connecticut.
So this has nothing to do with Huff and Puff or Huff and More.
No,
Puff
as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the show, I always say we're crisscrossing the country and all that stuff. We're going to be crisscrossing Mohegan Sun here. We've got multiple jackpots totaling $1.3 million. We've got, starting off, Casino of the Earth.
Okay. Again, I think we've said this a lot. The Mohegan Sun Casino is broken up. Well, their gaming floor is broken up into 4 separate casinos. Yes. Casino of the Earth. Sky, Sun, Wind?
Yeah.
Did I get them?
Yep.
Get them like that? Okay, all right.
Well, we're going to be crisscrossing all of them, but really only 2 of them. But we're going to start off in Casino of the Earth, and we've got a table game.
Okay.
We've got a $5 side bet triggering the Super 4 Progressive Blackjack Jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, we have the $5 side bet on the blackjack table.
That's where you make your money, the side bets.
In the Casino of the Earth, it triggered the Super 4 Royal Flush Progressive Jackpot here because they nailed a Royal Flush.
Yeah, that's always big money.
Yes, that
Royal
$5.
Flush, yep.
Yes, that $5 side bet. $484,961.60.
That's awesome. That's great.
Staying in Mohegan, but going over to the Casino of the Sky this time.
Which, by the way, is just a short walk.
Yeah. Turn your head. You'll see it.
It makes it sound like it's acres big.
Yes.
And it's not. It's
We have a Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune Gold Spin Jackpot here.
We talked about Wheel of Fortune last week, right?
Yes. Okay. We have a $5 spin.
Another $5.
Yep. Huh? 3 Wheel of Fortune symbols, which triggers their bonus features. They spin the jackpot wheel, and they ended up getting $338,662.16.
All right.
And finally, the very next day, we have a player back in the Casino of the Earth.
Okay, back in the
Yes.
Casino of the Earth.
We have a Buffalo Diamond slot machine.
Okay, Buffalo. We always talk about Buffaloes.
Yes,
So.
$4 bet.
$4 bet.
$4
Okay.
bet. Landed 3 bonus symbols for a $519,009.90 jackpot.
For $4, huh?
$4.
That's great.
So
that was like, what was that, 3 days?
Yes.
That was some massive
It
jackpots
was
in 3 or 4
Wednesday,
days.
It was a Wednesday, Friday, and a Saturday.
Wow.
So
Look
3
at that.
out of, 4 days there?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And also, it was only $14 spent to get $1.3 million payout. So.
Oh, you were breaking it down like that.
Well,
huh?
they gave it to me 5, 5, and 5.
Okay.
5,
All
5, and 4. That's 14.
Okay.
Anyway, leaving Connecticut and leaving the Casino of the Earth, Casino of the Sky, and Mohegan Sun in general. We're heading out to Nevada, where we're going out to Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa for a Dragon Link jackpot.
Oh,
we have
okay.
a $25 bet on the Dragon Link.
Mm-hmm.
The player was in the Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa high-limit slot room.
Okay.
So, win happened at 9 p.m.
Wow, they really broke
Yes,
it down.
they
They're
broke it
really
down.
getting specific on
Yes.
this press release, huh?
And the $25 bet on the Dragon Link high-limit machine paid out $1,016,561.42.
Wow. That's great.
The second $1 million jackpot from the high-limit room at Red Rock this year.
You know, casinos love those high-limit slot rooms. I
Yes.
mean, there are some, like, are, getting rid of their poker room to put these high-limit slot machines in. So, it's makes a lot of money for not only the patrons, as we're hearing, but it makes a lot of money for the casino. So,
And if you think about this, the high-limit room slot machine here, the Progressive reset itself back to $1 million. So not a lot of people have played it in the meantime.
Wow, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
See, I thought it would go down a little
1,016,000.
further. I mean, I
It set
usually...
it-
There's this one game we were talking about. It usually sets back at 100,000. But
Most of them do. Most
this
of
one
them do.
sets to $1 million.
Well, this
huh?
is the high-limit Dragon Links. They're all $1 million.
Yeah.
They all start
okay.
at $1 million.
Oh, yeah, this is the Dragon Link we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the
Yes.
$1 million thing.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to be leaving Nevada now and heading over to California, where we're spending a lot of time here. We might as well get a room there. Thunder Valley Casino Resort, another jackpot.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot.
And we're staying with Dragon Link.
Dragon Link. Wow, what a week for Dragon Link.
2 in a row. We've got a $5 bet.
Another $5 bet.
Yep.
Lots of $5 bets last week, huh?
Yeah, and he hit the bonus features and won $155,655.06.
Huh, okay.
So congratulations. The winning keeps on happening over at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. That is an incredible run Thunder Valley's on.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I'm getting press releases, dollars to donuts, it's either a Dragon Link machine or it's a Thunder Valley Casino Resort.
Yeah,
lately.
there are a lot of
So,
people hitting at Thunder Valley.
Yes. So congratulations. Thunder Valley's getting more and more popular with their slots there.
Yeah, great.
And now we're leaving California. We're going all the way back over to New Jersey here.
Okay.
We're here in Jersey. What do we do in Jersey every so often besides going to casinos? We talk Jersey Jackpots, the show within a show.
Wow, okay. Yeah, so what is this, August now? Is it all of August or half of August?
We have half of August.
Half of August. Yeah, because they always
June and
change their-
July, they give me the full months.
Okay.
August,
and we're
they're
talking
now-
about the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement. They send out these reports and stuff like
Well,
that.
they have a spreadsheet where they put up the $40,000 or more jackpots.
Mm-hmm.
They do them every 2 weeks during the winter, fall, and spring. Summer they do a month
Okay.
at a time.
So
June and July,
they just give you the month.
It used to be August too, but they gave me 2 weeks in August.
Oh,
there, so
okay. All right.
That actually makes my job a little easier to go through these.
Sure.
But we are now in Jersey Jackpots, the show within a show, and we're going to start off on August 1st.
August 1st, okay.
We have 5 jackpots of $100,000 or more on August 1st.
What the hell was going on in August 1st?
I have no...
What day was August 1st? I was like, it's like a Saturday, everyone's at the casino or something?
I don't know, but we have 3 retail and 2 online jackpots
Wow,
on August
okay.
1st.
All right.
Starting off on the boardwalk, we have Ocean Casino Resort, $100,000 on IGT Double Bonus Poker.
Mm-hmm.
Followed closely at Ocean Casino Resort by IGT Double Bonus Poker, paying out $100,000.
Wow, big day for double poker.
I'm
Is
wondering-
that like the standard jackpot win for
Yeah.
double poker? It's always $100,000.
And I'm wondering if this...
I'm not complaining. I'm
No.
complaining I haven't won one.
I'm just wondering
But,
if this is the same person. They don't say. They
but
don't
these
say.
are two jackpots
Two
of
jackpots.
$100,000
Yep.
in double bonus
Yes.
poker. Okay.
Moving down the boardwalk, we have the Hard Rock
Oh,
Hotel
right
and
next.
Casino,
That's
Atlantic
actually
City.
right next door to Ocean. It's
Not right
probably,
next door.
Yeah, okay, the buildings aren't next to it, but it's the next casino
next
you run
casino
into
down.
if you walk down the
Yes.
boardwalk.
We have Dragon Link, happy and prosperous, paying out $148,750.
Wow.
Now we're in our online parts here. We're going to Golden Nugget Casino. We're seeing a lot of Golden Nugget online casino jackpots lately.
I see a lot of
IGTs.
online casino Golden Nugget television commercials too. Here,
Yeah,
so.
well, it's paying off, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
IGT Cash Eruption paid out $214,185.85. And the last on August 1st, we have Borgata Casino. Someone played Evolution 7's Luck.
Now, is that the online casino?
This is Borgata Casino Online. We had two online, Golden Nugget, and now we have Borgata Casino. $248,760.53.
Wow, nice.
Now, August 3rd, we have somebody's reason to celebrate really good here on DraftKings.com. Spin Games Phone Tag. I've never played that. I got to look at this
I don't
game.
even know what that is.
Well, Phone Tag somebody for $1,289,617.29.
So this is DraftKings. What was this called again?
Spin Games released a game called Phone Tag. I got to look this up.
Yeah, someone just won $1.2 million.
Yes.
You bet I'm going to look it up. And that's on DraftKings, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All
Next
right.
up, we have August 7th. We got a trio of jackpots over $100,000 or more on August 7th, staying with DraftKings. And this is a game I just don't have any luck in. DK Rocket 2.
Now, is that the Rocket game where I'll try to explain this. They have DraftKings has an online casino game.
Everyone's got a game just like this.
I don't know if I played two, but it's a rocket and it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, and the money gets better and better.
There's
when
a
it goes
multiplier.
up,
The higher the
and
altitude,
you have
the
to
bigger
hit
the
a
multiplier.
button
Yeah.
before it explodes.
To
right?
jump out. To jump
out
Yeah.
before
Yep.
it explodes.
Yep.
So
But DK Rocket 2, and I've never had this kind of luck on this game. $420,000.
I gotta be honest. I didn't know you can win that kind of money on DK Rocket.
They go when I saw
240. No, wait, 420,000.
When I was playing, I
God.
jumped off and I watched it go up and up and up. It went to 45 times the bet.
Oh, okay.
Before it exploded.
Okay.
Anyway,
it's a game of chicken.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You ever hear the game Chicken, where you have to pull out before something bad happens? That's what happens.
Next up, we're staying with DraftKings, and
All
this
right.
is a game I don't have any luck on either. I've played this. I've never gotten anything anywhere on this game. Evolution's Bonanza. People love this game.
I don't even know what it is.
$254,820. Somebody really loves
Wow.
that game.
Yeah.
Now we're
They
going
do now.
Yes, we're going back over to the marina, and we've got Borgata, the actual brick and mortar.
All right.
Bally Locket Link, a classic game. $134,895.05. Moving over to August 9th, we've got a pair of jackpots, both retail, brick and mortar, both on the boardwalk.
Okay.
We're going back to Ocean Resort for the first one. Dragon Link Panda Magic. I'll tell you, that's just a fun name, Panda Magic.
Yeah.
$103,478.71. And then we're going back down to Hard Rock Atlantic City, playing Aruz Gaming's Gong Gong Lai Fu Mighty Buddha.
Okay. All right. I don't think I've ever played that.
Second time we got this game in our list.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. Last time we did Jersey Jackpots, we had Mighty Buddha. Because I just got tired of saying Gong Gong Lai Fu Mighty Buddha. So I was calling it Mighty Buddha. $205,500.
Wow.
And last up, we have August 15th, our last $100,000 or more jackpot for the first half of August. Going back onto DraftKings.com with Paraplays, All Aboard Dynamite Dash. That's the choo-choo train.
Yeah, it's a choo-choo train.
$223,500.
Okay.
And now, as we always end up Jersey Jackpots, the totals from January 1st through August 15th. This is jackpots $40,000 or more.
Okay.
2,943 jackpots, totaling $247,429,465.27. And last but not least, we have 16 jackpots of $1 million or more. We are ahead of last year.
I was going to say, I mean, it sounds like we're trending above what we were last year, so that's good.
Well,
and once again, I have won none of that.
Yes.
I have none of the 16 jackpots of $1 million or more.
And that's it for Jersey Jackpots this week. I'll be back probably within about 2 weeks now that they're doing every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'll be back in about 2 weeks with another episode of Jersey Jackpots, the show within a show. We're in our lottery jackpots segment here, and we've got a Maryland lottery jackpot. So we're heading down to Maryland, obviously, to talk Maryland lottery, where we have an incident of forgetfulness paying off big time for a guy.
Forgetfulness?
Yes.
Led him to win the lottery. Okay, I'm trying to figure. Go ahead, tell me the story because I'm curious now the way you set that up.
Inadvertently purchased an extra lottery ticket for a drawing.
Okay. By the way, I always say, and I'm going to say it again, if you get a lottery ticket by mistake or if you get the wrong numbers by mistake, I would keep it. I mean, you got that for a reason. I mean, maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe it's a mistake from your point of view, but, maybe cosmically it wasn't a mistake. You were meant to have it. So I don't ever give it back. Don't ever give those money back.
He wasn't giving those back.
Don't give the numbers back to the teller. Just keep it and pay for another one.
Well, he was not given this back because he could not remember if he bought tickets for a certain drawing coming up for the Maryland lottery for the Powerball drawing.
Okay.
He couldn't remember, so what he did, play it safe. He bought a ticket that covered the next 3 drawings.
Okay.
Went on vacation.
All right.
Came back. Found out that the ticket he had just purchased, the one that he just bought for 3 that covered 3 drawings, won $500,000.
Wow, nice.
Checked again because he realized he also had another set of tickets he previously purchased, and he had the exact same numbers on that.
Wow, that's great.
So $1 million jackpot.
Wow, nice.
Yes, 500,000 times 2.
There are no mistakes in the lottery. If you get numbers that you didn't think you had, or if you got numbers by mistake, keep them.
Yes,
because you never know.
So, congratulations to the Maryland lottery winner there. Congratulations to all the winners we talked about this week. We only do $100,000 or more on the show, so there are a lot more winners out there each and every week, both lottery and casino, so congratulations to everybody. Game announcements, jackpot announcements, any other press releases, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Send them in, and I'll be back next week with another collection of jackpots and new games.
All right, sounds good. Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time with House of Cards.
Drag us follow the chain.